Hi, it's Hilary again, and we're back with another episode of Chat with Friends. And this week I'm very excited because we're actually going to meet and talk with my mentor, the man that trained me, that I was lucky enough to be led to by Susan Blair, who you met in an earlier Chat with Friends. His name is John Gossett. He was very instrumental in bringing Pilates here to Houston, and is just an amazing teacher and an amazing person. So I'm very excited, a little nervous, but let's see what he has to say.
Okay.
Very fashionable.
Yeah, it's a little thing sticking out.
Okay, so welcome to Chat with Friends. I'm Hilary, and this is John Gossett,
Hello.
who actually is my teacher. Taught me how to do everything I do, so I'm honored.
Won't you do more than that now, hopefully?
Well, I hope so. I hope you taught me at least that part, right? Yeah. I wanted you to tell, I kind of know your story, but tell everyone a little bit about how you came to Pilates.
Well, I came into Pilates kind of by accident. I was dancing with Chicago City Ballet in Chicago, and there were some dancers that were from Houston, and they were going back and forth between here and Houston, and I was about ready to stop my dance career, and they had said that there were some people, the Houston Ballet was looking for people, former dancers, to come train as Pilates instructors. So I had lived in Houston before, so I knew Houston was a very welcoming city, so I decided to come down here, and I had never done Pilates before, although I was asked to do it. When I was dancing with Chicago City Ballet, Paul Mejia, who was the co-director at that time, his mother came to visit. And she had watched class and done some things with some of the other dancers. She asked me if I thought I would like to do some exercises that would really help me in dance. And I had already been taking class, rehearsing, working out in the gym, and I even used to run, which is not very good, smart, but I used to run as well. And I politely turned her down, and that woman was Romana Krasnowska. That was Paul's mother.
And you turned her down.
And I turned her down. So then I came to Houston, and I started as an apprentice in Houston Ballet in their body conditioning studio. And Brian Peters was the manager. It was a very, 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 very tiny studio. He was the manager of the studio at the time, and he was just out of the academy. He was basically a lot younger than me. And that's where I started.
Excellent. That's
and I never left.
Never left. I know that you were instrumental, at least to me and people that have come through your studio, in bringing Pilates and the awareness of Pilates to Houston. So how did you go from where you started with the Houston Ballet to where you are now?
Well, Houston Ballet had a bit of a shake-up. So I was at Houston Ballet for about 5 years, and then they sort of suspended the studio, did some crazy things, and we all left. But that's another story. But so I was able to open up my own business, and I started out in a very small space in this building, actually. Probably after being in business for about 5 years, I got wind of the Physical Mind Institute offering their first. They were saying that they had the very first certification for Pilates. So I hooked up with them. I went out to Santa Fe, hooked up with them. So then I started doing training for the Physical Mind Institute. And at that time, I was the only training center in Houston. Yep. So there were a lot of people that had come through the studio for training. Now, of course, there's a lot more around, and I'm no longer with Physical Mind.
Right. But that's how I got here.
Yes.
Yes. So, besides Pilates, what do you enjoy most in life? What outside of Pilates?
Well, I got into tennis very late, probably about 6 years ago. And just like dance, I started dance very late. I started dance at 22, so I started very late. So I'm starting tennis very late. And that has become one of my passions, and I enjoy playing tennis. I still take lessons. I take lessons once a week, and I try to play 2 or 3 times a week. And then, of course, my children. I have my kids.
Who are growing up really fast.
Yes.
What do you enjoy most about the journey that you've had with Pilates?
I guess it has to be the volume of people that I have met, over the 35 years, going on 36, and there's just a lot of people, a lot of nice people. Of course, it pays the bills. So I'm really not sure. It just probably has to be the people, I guess. And helping people. We've helped a
Well,
lot of people.
you have some clients that you've had for a really, really
Yes,
long time.
yes. And some clients have died.
Yes.
No fault of mine.
It wasn't
Because
your
it's just time. Yeah.
On that note, what's the best experience, or if you could pick just one, that you've had with a client?
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess maybe it's hard to say that because a lot of my clients have become friends. So and I've become close to some of those that have died. So it's kind of sad in a way. You get to know a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I've had some interesting characters. Like Abby Lipschitz was a very, very interesting guy that I had a good relationship with, but he eventually died. And Myron Steves, who started with us when he was 90, actually lived to be 103, and he was coming till he was 102. He turned 103, and he was getting just too weak to come in anymore, and then he died a few months into his 130 years. But I don't know. It's just I don't have any one person
Just
really. Too many people. Yeah.
Yeah. Has Pilates ever helped you through a difficult or stressful time in your life? The practice of it for yourself.
Yeah, well, I work out every day when I can, just around the studio doing different things in between breaks. Ideally, every Pilates teacher should work with a teacher because you tend to do your shortcut version, which is what I do. So it would probably be good for me to do that, but I'm not doing that. Yeah, it has helped me. It helps me play tennis. It helps you with tennis. It helps keep me going. It helps keep me going. Yeah. I play with a senior group at Memorial Park. These are all retired guys, and I'm physically the youngest. Even though I'm old enough to be one of the retired guys, I'm physically one of the youngest out of
Because
it.
of Pilates.
Because of Pilates, I would say, yeah.
There's two things that stick out for me with you that you taught me. And one was to have a session with another instructor, which I do.
That's good.
And that what we were learning was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
And that this is the way we were learning it, but that didn't mean that there weren't other ways out there.
Yeah.
And I've carried that with me.
One of my favorite expressions, this is kind of off the subject, is there's two things that people like to say all the time. It's like, we're not really reinventing the wheel here.
Right.
But you think about it, you can't really reinvent the wheel because there's one aspect of a wheel that makes it a wheel, and it could be nothing else. It has to be round, right? So there's certain aspects of Pilates that are always going to be flexion, extension, rotation, side bend. Those are all going to exist. So you're not really going to reinvent it. You're just going to do it, but with a different flair, a different style. You can make up exercises from here to there, but it's still going to involve those same elements.
Yep.
And the other one is that it's not rocket science. But say you had a rocket scientist who taught Pilates, then it would be rocket science. Meaning, all the knowledge that a rocket scientist has, he's going to apply it to what he's doing. So it's a matter of what level you are as a teacher, and whatever knowledge you have, whatever outside knowledge you have, you're going to incorporate that into your work. So that's why it's important to learn more things and to be as intelligent a teacher as possible.
I agree.
Make it rocket science.
Yeah. Well, there's 10 questions I ask everyone, and they one-word answers. Are you ready?
Okay.
Do you ever watch James Lipton Inside the Actor's Studio?
No.
Okay. Don't be scared, though. You ready?
Okay.
One word, as best you can. I did this with Susan Blair. She couldn't give one-word answers, so feel free to give more. What is your favorite Pilates exercise if you had to pick one?
You're going to hate this, the hundreds.
Really? Okay. What's your least favorite? Which that would have thought.
The corkscrew, which I don't do.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally about Pilates?
Physicality.
What would a client do that might turn you off or make you upset?
Be critical.
What do you like to hear most from your clients?
That feels good.
What would be your favorite Pilates term to use while teaching?
Feel it in the low belly. I like saying low belly. The sound of it low belly.
If you if you weren't a Pilates instructor, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would be an actor.
You'd be a good one, I bet. What would be a profession you would not want to do?
President of the United States.
Okay, here's a good one. If heaven exists and you sit down with Joseph Pilates, what would you want to hear him say to you about what you did for Pilates?
You got it.
Excellent. Thank you for letting me sit down with you.
Okay. Enjoyed it very much.
I
Thank you for
enjoyed
having
it
me.
too.
Okay.
Take care. Thank you. Oh, I just love you.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Get that on camera.
I got it on camera.